They've made a couple of changes in the Leinster pack for this one. Richard Strice, the South African-born Irish international, starts in the middle of the front row and capped just once for Ireland a few seasons ago. Dominic Ryan starts in the back row. Behind the scrum, 2 changes as well. Leinster's most capped player, Gordon Darcy, makes appearance 256 for his province, and Zane Kirshner starts on the right wing for the injured Fergus McFadden. Well, Jamie Hazelip has been really laying down the law all the way through the warm-up, and there's a huge level of intensity emanating from the blue-shirted Leinster players. As the crowd here at Ravenhill, a capacity crowd, about 18,500, if that's to be believed, will be packed in here to this Kingspan Stadium. This game and the game in a couple of weeks' time against Munster, completely and utterly sold out. Rory Best coming out of the 2 Ulster mascots, Faith Elwood from Crossgar, and in his left hand, Scott Isherwood from Omagh, whose great-great-grandfather was one Jim Seeley. Played 9 times for Ireland in the 1890s and played 4 times for the Great Britain team against South Africa in 1896. Well, it's the exact same Ulster starting 15 and replacements that got the bonus point in Connacht. Props Callum Black and Vian Herbst start together for the 16th time this season. Franco van der Merwe has played more games than anybody. This is 25th game. Behind the scrum, Pienaar and Jackson in tandem once again. Likewise, Darren Cave and Jared Payne. And on the wings, Tommy Bowe, the competition's highest try scorer, and Craig Gilroy, who scored more tries than anybody this particular season. The referee, a dashing wing 3/4 with the wonderful Shannon Club and with Munster, John Lacey. And this is 44th competitive game. So a Munsterman taking charge of what's the oldest fixture in the Irish interprovincial calendar, Ulster against Leinster. And there's Jimmy Gopperth, bound for London Wasps next season to get us underway. And that's not a bad kick at all. Dan Toohey takes, Mike McCarthy takes Dan Toohey. 2 players familiar with each other. Ruan Pienaar from inside his 22. Gathered in by Carney. Gopperth. Oh, he's got through. It was a bad miss there, tackling. What a great start this for Leinster. Gopperth threatening to go all the way. And he bamboozled 2 Ulster players. One of them, Chris Henry, you have to say. Luke Fitzgerald in off his left wing. What a start by the men in blue. There is a great level of intensity from the visitors. Taking on, once again, the skipper Hazelip was in there. Boss, Gopperth, Sean O'Brien, who scored a brace of tries here a few seasons ago. Ball back in the Leinster side, Hazelip. Crowd not happy about something. John Lacey happy enough. Here come Leinster again, Richard Strice. Roger Wilson with the covering tackle. Boss again. It's all Leinster. Hazelip. Van der Merwe makes the hit. Boss. McCarthy. Tackled by Rory Best. Now Gopperth. Carney yet again. Devin Toner. Still all the pressure coming from Leinster. Ulster have got to be clever here. Zane Kirshner, who's very strong, the Springbok. Boss gets it away again. Mike Ross. What a tackle. That is a hit and a half by Big Ian Henderson on his Irish colleague, and taken away by Chris Henry. And Ulster coming in from the side. What a start, Reggie Cardigan. I'm delighted to get my breath. Welcome to Ravenhill. Welcome to Kingspan.
Good to be here, and what a way to start the evening. A fantastic start from Leinster. Real intensity right from the off. All week I've been looking forward to this game. I felt that Leinster really were going to try and come here and prove a point, and so far we've seen they really intend to run the ball at every opportunity. Rob Kearney taking that kick from Pienaar and not looking for anything else other than find some space on the outside and move the ball quickly. An incredible hit there by Henderson on Big Mike Ross as he came through, just to show that the Ulster guys haven't just shown up to make up the numbers tonight either. They tried to get a little bit of dominance and get themselves back into the game, but it's been all Leinster so far as the ball has been moved left and right across the pitch. Some good phases, and the crowd not too happy about it, but it's resulted in a penalty for Leinster and the opportunity to get some points on the board.
Well, that was the tackle, and then the ball came back, and I think it was actually the man who made that tackle, Ian Henderson, come in from an offside position, and Leinster have decided not to go for the points, but they've gone to the corner, and they're hoping to pick up where they left off last weekend against Toulon away in the south of France, where they got a splendid try from a driving line-out close to the opposition line. Can they do it again? Richard Strice for Leinster. Well, that's the take at the front. Ulster come thundering in. It's collapsed, so that'll hold up Leinster's forward drive. They still have the ball in their possession. O'Brien looking to propel himself off the back of that scrum, but it's Struis who takes it on. Now they'll have to play it. That was well repelled by the men in white. Boss. Ulster defending once again underneath their own post. Isaac Boss again. Over 100 games he played when he was with Ulster here. Well, everything Leinster do has been booed by the crowd. In comes Rob Kearney. Ulster can't afford to miss tackles. All the pressure coming still from Leinster. Mike Ross. Darren Cave has to go in playing. In fact, it was Jared Payne playing number 13. Referee's got the hand out for another penalty against Ulster. And he's saying that Ulster didn't release the man in the tackle.
No clear release.
Well, huge pressure coming from Leinster, Reggie, I guess, and all that produces penalties.
Yeah, but again, the defensive line from Ulster has worked well, bar that one missed tackle on Jimmy Gopperth where he did find a gap and step back inside quite easily. The defensive line is well organised early by Ulster, and they're coming forward and making some big hits and stopping Leinster at that gain line. Referee John Lacey just seems to be of the opinion that they're not releasing in the tackle, so the Ulster players have to react to that. He's made it clear early in the game that they've got to release just after the tackle and then go in and compete for the ball. So they've got to get amongst themselves. I'm sure Rory Best will be having a word with them and just release that player, even if it's just briefly, and then get back in and contest. And if they can do that, I think they'll be in a good position to get some turnovers.
Well, it's a problem that Ulster had with Nigel Owens in Connacht a couple of weeks ago. He didn't react quickly to the instantaneous interpretation of the laws, or application of the laws in the case of Nigel Owens. So here with coming up to 5 minutes played, first chance for serious points for Leinster. Gopperth. No mistake with that one. So the perfect start for the reigning champions, and plenty of their supporters have made what is now a very, very short journey from Dublin up to Belfast. 3-0 to Leinster.
And Leinster will be happy with that start. 5 minutes of the game gone. They've had all the possession. Ulster haven't seen sight of the ball yet. Even from the restart, it was literally just catch, and then it's been all Leinster since, so they'll need to get themselves into this game quickly.
Jackson, well taken by Toner. It does help if you're right up in the clouds to start with. It's well managed at the restart by the champions. Fayyan Herbs comes thundering in to add a bit of bulk to it. Boss to kick. Ooh, he's given that a lot of sky. Ludick knocks it backward. Big challenge went in there though from Zane Kirshner. Pienaar, Franco van der Merwe, named as man of the match in Galway a couple of weeks ago. Pienaar again, switch of direction. Easily gathered by Jamie Heaslip. Gopperth, Rob Kearney onto that favoured left foot of his. And that's not a bad kick at all.
That's a great kick by Kearney off the outside of the boot. It looked like he might have screwed it a little bit off the outside of his boot. It was intentional, and found a great touch inside the Ulster half. But Ulster, you know, they managed to get some possession, but there weren't too many players offering themselves as runners, and the ones that were static in position. Just made it so easy for Leinster to get the defensive line organised, come up, make the tackle, and essentially force that kick from Pienaar, and Leinster put it back with a few more yards on it.
Callum Black, who in the main has been Ulster's first choice loosehead this season, passes on the instruction to his skipper. Ulster taking Chris Henry and Roger Wilson out of the lineout. That's gone a bit loose. That could be dangerous for Ulster. O'Brien looking really trim now. Shed a few pounds or kilos since he came back to full fitness, and there goes Ben Teo, and Teo's going to get through. I don't think Ulster can stop him. What a try by the Samoan Rugby League international. He really carved up that Ulster midfield, and Ulster find themselves very much in the back foot, and we've only played 7 minutes.
Brilliant start from Leinster. Great line by Ben Teo. It's only his 11th game of union. He just came back on the inside. Great handoff. I'm not sure who he managed to get the handoff on, but whoever it was won't be too happy to get brushed aside as easily as that. But brilliant step back inside. I think it was Roger Wilson, was it? Yeah, he just manages to get that big left hand into the face and push him away, and then he uses his pace to get past the defending players, and just from that distance there was no one going to stop him. Brilliant try from Leinster, brilliant start, and should be 10 points inside of 10 minutes.
Well, he got a couple of tries last time out in the league against the Dragons, although he got himself a sin bin, which actually eventually led to Leinster losing that game. But he's more than made up tonight, and what a start this is by the defending champions. And any worry about them not being mentally prepared for this game, I think, has gone well and truly out the window. This for a 10-point lead. Gopperth. Not a problem. What a start by Leinster. What a try by this fella too. What a signing he's been.
Great finish there, great line, great strength, great pace. But anybody that thought before this game that Leinster weren't going to be up for this game and that it was going to be an easy night for Ulster have just had a bit of a rude awakening. Leinster were always going to come up here and perform, and we've seen it so far inside the first 10. Again,
it's long, again it's Toner, again there's no real challenge from Ulster. Of course, you can't touch the man when he's in the air. Leinster set it up well, and there's that self-same kick from Isaac Boss. And again, it's Ludick, and it's knocked back on the Leinster side. McCarthy. Leinster far sharper. To Gopperth into a bit of space. Luke Fitzgerald chasing down his Irish Six Nations teammate, Tommy Bowe. That hasn't found touch. Gordon Darcy. Left out of the 2015 Six Nations squads.
Assist away!
Leinster playing with a huge degree of commitment and intensity. The try scorer Teo takes it up to the 10-metre line. Boss again. Gopperth had a glance. He's miscued that. Now can Ulster capitalise? Gilroy's got it. 10 tries in the league this season. Craig Gilroy, top scorer. Roger Wilson into his old buddy Isaac Boss. Back on the Ulster side. Jackson. Chris Henry. Only his second start of 2015. Jackson back inside to Ludick. Looked a wee bit forward, but Ludick's managed to hang on to it and also get the penalty. A little bit of continuity there from Ulster.
Just going to say, great continuity there from John Lacey as well. Consistency in his decisions. You could hear him shouting roll immediately. Player lying on the ball, killing the ball, stopping that Ulster attack. Yeah, a little bit better from Ulster, a bit more venom in the way that they seem to have their runners coming onto the ball. You could see Chris Henry, Roger Wilson hurting a little bit from that missed tackle that he had on Teo, so he was carrying the ball with a little bit more conviction there and a bit more pace about the Ulster attack, and they're going to need a lot more of that because Leinster tonight just seemed full of running.
Well, it's a full house here, and one familiar face is missing, and people I'm sure will understand if we mention our former BBC colleague Jim Stokes, for many years rugby correspondent of the Belfast Telegraph, who underwent heart surgery this morning, a 4-hour operation to replace a valve in his aorta. And no doubt, Stoker, you'll be watching this if you're not too groggy, and you'll be back among us pretty soon. So all the very best to Jim Stokes, a dear friend and a great rugby man. But all eyes after 11 minutes on Ulster scrum half Ruan Pienaar. Didn't have a great day with the kicking in Galway, and he's not having so far a great evening with the kicking here in Belfast. And away goes Luke Fitzgerald, always dangerous, has always given Ulster problems down the years. Boss, Gopperth. There was a bit of an overlap there. That came off the toe of Rob Kearney. Well positioned by Louis Ludick. Ulster employing the kick and chase game yet again. Gopperth in a bit of a collision there. He's well tackled by Ruan Pienaar. Toner. Leaves it for Isaac Boss.
Get up, get up.
That's another well-placed kick by Boss. Good take by Gilroy. Away he goes. Gilroy hoping to stake a claim for one of the wing three-quarter berths on the Irish World Cup squad, but a lot of competition there. There goes Jackson. Good little burst by Ulster's outside half. Needs a bit of help. Well, what a strong one by Jackson. Gets it away to Jaron Payne, who was upended. Better stuff now from the men in white. Callum Black. Across the Leinster 22. Pienaar. Dan Tue, pointer two to prove himself. Taken on by Payne, who had a great Six Nations. Pienaar again. Jackson. Tommy Bowe. Well taken by Luddick. Referee said it went backward. Quicker ball by Ulster. Taken by Henderson. Henderson straight through. Needs to go under the post. What a try by Henderson. Referee had a wee look to see there was a hint of a forward pass. He may come back to have that checked.
I don't think he's going to come back. I think he's happy to give the decision instantly. Sean O'Brien was disgusted over something that happened, but what a great piece of work by Paddy Jackson. Someone needed to take this game and take some control of it from an Ulster point of view. A brilliant break by him, and his physicality. He bounced Jimmy Gopperth off in the collision. A little bit fortunate for Ulster. Tommy Bowes got hit well in the tackle, and the ball bounced backward into Luddick's hand. But they made the most of it, and great line coming back in by Henderson. And just looking at the replay here as they come back in, I think O'Brien is complaining that maybe Lacey himself got in the way and he couldn't make the tackle, but that was never going to happen. But again, great work by Jackson. The whole time he was controlling things, he was putting balls in behind. Good run first, but a brilliant pass there on offload, and a good try, and we're in for a cracking game now, Jim.
Well, thundering finish by Big Ian Henderson, his third league try. It's only his fifth start of the season, remember. He was out right at the start of the season after surgery. Here's Pienaar. That's a little bit better from close range. Pienaar's out of the extra points, and all of a sudden that Leinster lead has been cut to 3 points. It's Ulster 7 and the champions 10.
Leinster have been criticised for lacking ambition and not taking risks and not looking to play the game that people have come to expect from them. We saw a situation there where Luke Fitzgerald decided to have a go from inside his own 22. It looked at first like it was a good decision, but then the ball got turned over. Great attack from Paddy Jackson, great one-line break, and now Ulster find themselves within 3 points. If Luke Fitzgerald had cleared his lines at that point, it may be down the halfway line and probably still at 10-0.
Well, Ruan Pienaar took the restart kick and gave it an almighty belt, and he's added it with a wee bit of interest there. Not too many smiles so far from the Ulster management. Neil Doken behind him, the Ulster team manager, former fullback Bryn Cunningham. Leinster have got Sean O'Brien in the scrum half position. Well stolen by Ulster. Pienaar, Wilson. Chris Henry says go forward. And he does go forward. Now Pienaar. Better stuff this from Ulster. Franco van der Merwe.
Off feet now.
Jackson, who orchestrated that clever break. Now it's Jared Payne, whose slight frame belies great strength. Still there for Ulster. Tui gets it away to Henderson. Pienaar. Chris Henry.
Get the mark, Collie. No advantage.
Leinster, I think, have got themselves offside, and this could well be the levelling of the game.
It should be, and Ulster no doubt will take these 3 points, get themselves back to a level position. It was Sean O'Brien who was judged to have been offside, and all of a sudden we're back to more than likely a level peg game. And it's been, again, we talked about the traits of Leinster's game this season. You know, I don't know how many matches I've watched this year where they've gotten themselves into a decent position early on in the game, got themselves a good lead, established themselves, and looked like they were going to kick on from there. And again, in this game, we're seeing Ulster up the tempo. They were asleep for the first 10 minutes, couldn't get any possession, couldn't get their hands on the ball, and as soon as they have, they seem to have found holes and gaps in that Leinster defence, which has been a problem all season. And now they find themselves probably going to be even coming into this next phase of the game.
Well, let's not preempt anything. Bit of rain now coming down. We thought we'd seen the last of it, and that's not going to help. It's going to make a slippery ball and an awkward pitch. A nasty little combination. Here's Pienaar. Over it goes. And after nearly 17 minutes, we're back to where we were, right at the kickoff. It's even Steven. Ulster 10 and Leinster 10.
And both coaching teams, you mentioned the Ulster coaching staff not having too much of a smile. They know there's a long way to go yet, but inside they will be happy. They were probably thinking to themselves when they went 10-0 down so quickly that this is going to be a long, long night, and Leinster look to be in a position and in a mood to do some damage tonight. But Ulster have stopped that quickly, as they needed to do, and now they're the ones in the ascendancy as the game progresses.
Change of direction from Jimmy Gupperth as far as the restart is concerned. Pienaar away to Henderson, the Ulster try scorer, who's nudged that forward. So we've had almost 18 minutes, and this is going to be the first scrum of the game. And I have to say, Leinster scrummaged, I thought, Reggie, last weekend particularly well against Toulon.
Absolutely, I thought they were outstanding against Toulon last week in the scrum, and I've been looking forward to this battle as well this week to see what the Leinster...
Dear, look at that.
Yeah, it's a pity, you know, it was such a great evening and so dry, and the conditions led to that running rugby, and already we've seen the effects of that with that knock-on from Henderson. But this first scrum is going to be one to watch.
Well,
there's 5 pounds a man of an advantage to the visitors. Callum Black just going down on one knee, but that's okay because the ball hadn't gone in, so there's nothing illegal about that. Once the ball is in, you can't go down.
I need to take the pressure here.
He's up against Mike Ross, who's belied the years and has had another very good season, particularly in the green of Ireland, where nobody really messed him about. Didn't play every single minute of every game, but he did enough to take the sting out of opposition front rows.
Bind! Set! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Weight advantage in favour of Ross. That's not a bad Ulster scrum. Good technique by Black, but away come Leinster. Boss, that's gone forward. The referee says that, has it gone forward? Yes, it has. I thought John Lacey changed his mind there. I thought he said that was got knocked backward. And then I think maybe somebody at the side, I think it's Leo Colgan on this side, might just have said to him, Lacey got that one wrong.
Okay.
Definitely, he had his arm back, and I think the call came in from the touchline. But again, already we're seeing the effect that the weather and the change of weather is having on this game. Unfortunately, the handling that little bit more tricky with the greasy ball. But a good scrum there from Ulster. Black did very, very well in on Mike Ross. He managed to get the angle, get in underneath and get a slight nudge on. So Leinster, obviously a lot of work done on the Ulster scrum this week because they watched that game last week too and saw how well Leinster did. So Leinster need to focus at scrum time.
Rowan Pienaar just glancing over his right shoulder to see who's deployed outside him. That's a good sort of looking Ulster scrum in their own put-in. That is a very good Ulster scrum, in fact. Wilson with a pick-up. Pienaar took it back inside his 22. Luke Fitzgerald, head bandage to Rob Carney. Well tackled by Henderson. Henderson still battling away. Boss in no man's land. Crowd not happy about something. Gupperth has caused Ulster a lot of problems when he runs. Back to Fitzgerald. Good covering by Pienaar.
Stop points.
It's not a bad kick because Carney's going to be forced to kick for a touch, but he's oodles of time. And he's done well.
Time off.
Well, referee's called time off for something. He's coming over and having a word with Jamie Hayes. Has there been a bit of foul play there?
I think the crowd weren't happy. I'm not sure. I saw someone coming in late and just clearing a player away off the ball when it seemed to have been cleared. Oh, it's lifting him off the ground. Sean O'Brien there in with Kirshner, and the two of them just picking the player clean off the ground. And
well, it probably takes two to lift Ian Henderson up as high as that, but you've got a responsibility of care. You've got to let the man down safely. And to be quite honest, he wasn't, his legs weren't above his shoulder, so I don't think it could be construed as a tip tackle. But John Lacey will have a look at that. Let's maybe hear what he's saying.
Okay.
He's asked to have it put up on the big screen so he can have a look at it himself. TMO is Seamus Flannery.
I don't think he'll like it, Jim. I think he could well give a penalty here to Ulster. It looks reckless picking the player up in the air and almost throwing him away. Watch O'Brien the way he picks him up and then just shoves him away.
That is dangerous. Actually, O'Brien moved away from it.
Have you seen that angle, John?
It's Kirshner. It's Kirshner who doesn't let him down correctly. O'Brien did the lifting and Kirshner did the dropping, I think.
A little bit of frustration.
I would think that number 7 did more damage by pushing him to the ground.
Okay, you want 7?
7 blue. Yellow card, 7 blue.
Okay.
Sean O'Brien's going to the bin.
7, please, Captain.
Seamus Flannery was the man who said that Sean O'Brien, an unfortunate phrase, did most of the damage.
Our decision is just left him up above the horizontal and then left him go. Yellow card for you.
So off goes Sean O'Brien. Leinster down to 14 men into the second quarter of this game.
And it seemed like frustration from Sean O'Brien earlier. We saw him not too happy about the Henderson try. He felt he was blocked, but you know, you could see in him he's just so anxious to get involved in this game and get a result that his frustration just came out a little bit too much there, and got a yellow card for reckless play more so than anything else.
Captain, I need to speak to 14 when I get a chance as well. He's not
Leo
absolved
Cullen
from that
on
either.
the left of your picture. Mark O'Connor, the Leinster head coach, in the middle, neither particularly happy. In the meantime, Paddy Jackson has found a good touch. The rain is really coming down, and Rory Best's going to have to dry every single square centimetre of that ball. Quickly back by Ulster. Pinar, good flat pass. Here comes Tommy Bowe. Pinar again. Wasn't a great pass. Was Henderson, I think, had to actually duck down a little bit. Advantage to Leinster from the knock-on.
There's no advantage to Blue. Knock-on.
It's so unfortunate. Both these teams want to play on the game line, fast rugby, and the rain is just destroying it. The ball is just like a bar of soap at this stage, and the handling errors are starting to creep up. Bit of a let-off there for Leinster because they were under pressure. The defensive line is being tested again. Ulster definitely feel they're getting up the upper hand. You can see the body language of the players. They're starting to up the tempo, the intensity in or around that line-out area. They're reacting to things that bit quicker. And if Leinster want to get themselves back into this game, even though they are a man down, they really need to up their own intensity.
Bit of an injury to Mike Ross, 35 years of age, one short of his half-century of Irish caps.
But you need to be careful as well. Okay.
Interesting, John Lacey has gone over to Zane Kirshner, the Springbok wing three-quarter, come full-back, and just said to him that you were a little bit culpable in all of that, so just be a little bit more careful. But Mike Ross seems to be fine, and it's going to be a Leinster scrum. And will they bring somebody in from the three-quarters to play in the back row in the absence of Sean O'Brien? We'll have to wait and see. And Ben Tia was actually coming in, who's going to pack down in the flank.
Crouch!
This could be an interesting scrum if Ulster could, by some means, manage to pinch it, because Leinster are now a man down behind the scrum. Boss, that's collapsed untidily, but I think penalty against Ulster. And I'm pretty sure it was Leo Colgan on this side said to John Lacey that Callum Black went to ground. Let off for Leinster, Reggie.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of those. The ground gets a bit slippy. It's one where the referee makes a decision. I think there's every possibility we'll see that evened off at some stage throughout the game, where there'll be a penalty given to Ulster for something similar. It's just a bit of a guessing game at that stage, and definitely a let-off for Leinster. And they'll be looking to try and get through this 10-minute period with 14 men without conceding any points, and then regroup and try and get back into it, because at the moment they've lost all momentum in their game.
Well, there's the scrum, and it went.
I think it's a fair call. You can see Black does try to get the nudge on, but just as he goes forward, he loses his feet and loses his bind.
Lost his bind. Rickard Strauss. Now count 6 times for Ireland. That was nowhere near straight. Dear, oh dear. Van der Merwe's got to get himself out of it and get back, and he's done just that. That's a good counter drive by Ulster. Roger Wilson hurdles in. Mike McCarthy's got himself detached. Gordon Darcy. Nice little shoulder dip into Paddy Jackson, who didn't shirk the tackle. Boss. Jamie Heaslip. Cian Healy. Tackled by his opposite loose head, Callum Black. Slow ball for Leinster, but they've got the ball. Taken on again, this time by Strauss.
Ball's available.
Boss has got Theo lurking out there dangerously. Boss again. Leinster just trying to create a little bit of an overlap if they possibly can. Big tackle yet again by Ulster and by Ian Henderson. And he's produced a penalty. Franco van der Merwe, I think, was the man in first, as it turns out.
Straight off his feet.
Well, that's good work by Ulster defending.
Great hit by Van der Merwe, and Jamie Heaslip trying to take on all the players on his own. Very little support around him. Van der Merwe lined him up, timed it perfectly, and got a brilliant hit in and drove him back. But Leinster, they're just the ball. You mentioned in the commentary, it's slow. Everything about it is slow. I mean, even when it's available, Boss is not getting it away from that base, that ruck area quickly enough. There's no speed of delivery, and you know, Ulster have all the time in the world to get the defensive line organised and get themselves into a position where they can come forward and make big smashes and big hits like that. We've seen them from Henderson and now Van der Merwe as well. So. Good defensive work from Ulster, but poor play by Leinster in getting the ball away from the breakdown.
Best. Tui. Pinar back inside the boat. Well set up. Pinar again. Good driving forward yet again by Ulster. Again there's Tui. Now it's Pinar Jackson. Here goes Henderson. Pinar again. Franco van der Merwe, tackled by Leinster's skipper Jamie Heaslip. Pinar, Darren Cave at inside centre for the second week in a row. Again Pinar, Jackson back inside to old Twinkle Toes Craig Gilroy. Again it's Pinar, now it's Callum Black, runs into Rickard Strauss, quicker ball. Roger Wilson loses possession. Well, that's not the first time Ulster in such a good position, and that wasn't a bad pass, and Roger Wilson will be cross with himself for that. I know it's going to be very slippery out there, Reggie, but these passes, if you're going to win games, they have to be held.
They got to stick. Yeah, there's been one or two too many now at this stage, and Ulster, you know, they are organising their attack very well, and in attack they're making ground every single time they go towards the game line. They go to the defensive line of Leinster. They're making at least 2 to 3 metres every time. The Leinster defence is soaking the tackles. It's not coming forward organised and getting hits on the game line and driving the player back. We've seen it in the Ulster defence with Henderson, with Van der Merwe, with all the players outside. They're coming forward and they're what we call offensive defensive tackles, in that they're driving the man backwards, they're forcing turnovers, and they definitely are in the ascendancy at the moment, Ulster. But Leinster have got to get that defensive line organised, and Ulster have got to be a lot more clinical in their attack, make those passes stick and stop making so many errors.
Well, Leinster have done pretty well. Sean O'Brien more than halfway through his 10-minute period in the sin bin, and Ulster haven't managed to add to their tally of 10 points. What a start by Leinster, 10-0 up after just 7 minutes. Some of the Ulster replacements, Ian Humphreys in good form there with big Robbie Dyack. A lot more serious out on the park, as you can tell by the expressions on the faces of both Mike Ross and Rickard Strauss. On the other side, Cian Healy. That is a formidable Leinster front row. And Sean Cronin and Jack McGrath, and a pretty useful Tyg Furlong on the bench.
Crouch!
Referees come round to the Ulster loosehead side. Boss told to get it in. Teo as a flanker. And Pinar told to stay on side, and he does. Back to Gopperth, oodles of time. Now, has he found his touch? Yes, he has. Well taken by Gilroy. Thought about a quick one. Leo Colgan getting a bit of the bird there. Well, Sean O'Brien will be happy with the break, but not happy that he's having to take a break.
Good piece of work from Leinster clearing from that scrum. Pressure came on initially from Ulster, but they did manage to hold out, and it was a good clearing kick from Gopperth in the end to get them outside their own 40.
Let's go.
Chris Henley's got the scrum half position for Ulster. As you can see, Ruan Pinar at the front of the line-out. There's Pinar. Love that one away. Here goes Cave, having a charge himself. Leinster pretty wise to that tactic and have closed them down. But quicker ball by Ulster. Jackson, difficult out there, it's slippery. Here goes Craig Gilroy. Gets across the 10-metre line of the opposition. Pinar needs a carrier. Ulster crowd complaining that Mike McCarthy might just have been offside. Healy puts the foot in.
Counter's okay. Go play the 9. He's going to use it. Use it!
Referee telling Ulster to use it, but there's nobody a scrum half. Jared Payne steps in. Now it's Wilson. Good handoff. That's a good roll. That was a penalty against Jamie Heaslip, the Leinster skipper. just be within Ruan Pinar's range, Reg. What do you think?
Yeah, but there is a little bit of a breeze out there. Just watching the rain as it's coming down, it's definitely coming from left to right. The kick that he took earlier on just seemed to hold up in that breeze, so he may well have a crack at it, but with that extra little bit of a breeze, it might be just out of his range.
Well, I think he's decided to have a go at it. Jamie Hayslip, who was in pretty vociferous form during the warm-up, really laying down the law to his Leinster side, was the man who conceded that penalty. Coming up to the half-hour mark, and Ruan Pinar has opted for a fairly lengthy attempt at goal. Fast approaching 530 points in this competition. We're really down to the business end now. 2 more games for both these sides after this evening. Pinar, as the wind dropped it off now, he's given that a fair belt. And just a little bit on the wide side, but better than the first attempt.
That was a really good kick, just a little bit unfortunate to go to the left. He decided to drill it lower and take the wind factor out of it, but I think by doing that he just lost his direction a little bit on it, but certainly he had the distance, just a good 5 meters to the left.
And Sean O'Brien preparing to come back on. So Leinster will be pretty pleased with themselves as Cian Healy gets some attention, that they didn't concede a single point when they were down to 14 men.
It's a pretty good achievement given the amount of possession that Ulster have, but I think Ulster would be very disappointed with themselves not to have gotten some form of score during that period of time. They certainly had the attack, they had plenty of possession, and they had some great running lines, but again it was just handling errors that let them down at crucial moments.
Two of Ulster's pretty useful South African signings, Vian Herbst, number 3, and Franco van der Merwe, number 5. Herbst is here as a special project, so in 2 seasons' time he is eligible to play for Ireland. And as you know better than anyone, Reggie, good tight heads don't exactly grow on trees.
Well, we certainly won't say no, because as you just said, there's certainly a shortage worldwide in that particular position. But Leinster really have to, they started off this game with a bit of ambition. They were trying to play some rugby, they were willing to go from different positions on the pitch. I think they've got to get back into that mind frame, try and play some running rugby and try and get some possession and start to attack Ulster again and ask some questions of the Ulster defence.
Nothing much wrong with Cian Healy, because he really thumped his Irish teammate Jared Payne. Pinar away to Henderson. Delicate sidestep from the big fella. Pinar again. Not quite so delicate from Franco van der Merwe, but equally effective. Pinar. Jackson had to check a bit. That is a teaser. Wonderful gather by Tommy Bowe. Pinar. Saw a little bit of space. Across comes Gopperth. Well closed down by Ulster. 9 minutes to go to half-time. And Ulster really have been pressing and pressing now for the last 20 minutes.
And clever mixing up of play there. Great kick. Brilliant play by Tommy Bowe, getting in the air and claiming that ball, making sure it was his, ensuring possession. But again, clever work by Pinar. He looked up, he saw that in behind there was a gap, little dink over the top. Jimmy Gopperth, in fairness to him, read it well, got across, covered it, but because of the chasing Ulster defenders, I think it might have been Tommy Bowe leading the charge on that, he was forced to rush his kick a little bit, and now a real opportunity for Ulster to attack from here.
15 metres or perhaps even less from the Leinster line. That's a good take. In comes Rory Best. John Lacey not giving them much time to move forward. Leinster have gone to ground. Referees told Ulster to use it. Pinar. Jackson inside to Bowe. Well read by Leinster and by Sean O'Brien, who's seen Bowe do that for Ireland so many times. Now it's Pinar. Vian Herbst. Dan Tui. Well tackled by Richard Strauss.
Play on, turnover's good.
Oh, they've lost it.
7 strip.
Luke Fitzgerald's found a little bit of empty space. Louis Ludick, Ulster have lost, well, 70 metres. Ludick comes to the near side. He hasn't put enough on that. Rob Carney. Ludick misses the tackle. Best had to put it in. Boss. Chance now for Leinster. Gopperth. Always dangerous. Look, he's almost got away. Now Fitzgerald. Oh, step back inside. Ulster's first up tackling not good enough. And Fitzgerald almost inexplicably gave it away. O'Brien told to get his hands out of it. Jackson, Gilroy, Payne, good tackle by Kirshner. And Ulster just into touch, and that's going to be a Leinster line-out. In the tackle, the ball, I think Reggie was knocked forward by a Leinster hand, so it's going to be an Ulster scrum. And I mean, all that pressure that Ulster put on, Leinster absorbed it, especially when they were down to 14 men, and now Leinster have come bouncing back. If they get another score before the interval, it could cause Ulster a problem or two.
Well, Leinster obviously buoyed by the fact that they didn't concede any points when they went down to 14 men, and the call probably came in from Jamie Murphy, or Jamie Heaslip even, to lift the tempo and try and get themselves into this game. And you could see certainly throughout the players like Carney getting involved there, Kirshner coming forward, making that big hit there, Luke Fitzgerald trying to use those fast feet of his and get some position. Just a little bit unfortunate with the pass back inside, but again a real indication how threatening this Leinster team are when they do get the ball in hand and get some space.
Also will be concerned that their first off tackling has been found wanting on too many occasions. It's another good solid Ulster scrum. They've been excellent in that aspect. Wilson leaves it for Pienaar. Jackson thought about the kick. Payne does. Again, Rob Carney, perfectly positioned. Good run by Carney. Bit of crossing there by Leinster. Ulster will get the penalty taken quickly by Pienaar. Little chip into space. Pienaar puts the foot in the gas. Back goes Gopperth. He's lost it. Well recovered though by Luke Fitzgerald.
Not backwards.
He's had a terrific turn to top flight rugby. Boss gets it away. That's a good bit of defending by Leinster. Ball was in touch. Ulster line-out. My word, you can't keep your eye off this, can you?
That was a great piece of play by Pienaar. He just looked up. He wasn't interested in going for the corner or trying to slow the game down. He immediately thought, let's get this in behind, get the chase on, try and force an error. It almost worked perfectly. Conditions bad. Gopperth went down, tried to scoop the ball up. It went underneath his body. In the end, Luke Fitzgerald did very well to recover the ball and give an opportunity for Boss to clear the line. And again, Leinster will be happy to have gotten away with that one.
4.5 minutes to go to half-time, 10 apiece. Rory Best. Good take at the front by Ulster.
He's okay. Use it once.
Pienaar takes it from Henry. Now Best. Well taken by Pienaar. Cave.
Okay, it's okay. No.
Runs into Rickard Strauss.
No.
Boss looking suspiciously offside. And de Merwe makes good ground yet again. And Pienaar. Here goes Henderson. Thought about the little pass, changed his mind. Somebody has to take it. Pienaar gets it. Now it's Jackson. That's not a bad little kick by Jackson. And Rob Carney does well.
And I have to say, Jim, the conditions haven't helped. Obviously, the rain coming down is a bit of a disappointment, but it really is a great game. Both teams are going at each other from, it really is a war of attrition. They're trying to wear each other down. They're showing some ambition. They're trying to be creative. They're not afraid to move the ball. Even inside their own 22 players are having a go. It's a really, really good game of rugby, and both teams, credit to them both for really trying to play some rugby in what are tough conditions.
Cliche though, I know it is. It's an old-fashioned inter-pro, Reg, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You loved those games, didn't you?
They always ended up like this up here, I have to admit. Close.
Best. Well taken in by Roger Wilson, who's well taken by Jamie Heaslip. Chris Henry has to tidy. Dominic Ryan puts in the tackle. Back on Ulster's side. It's a little bit crowded there. Van der Merwe, helped by Roger Wilson and Henderson. Pienaar, now Jackson. Jared Payne. Oh, he's done well. A little bit of secondary turbocharging there. Pienaar. Ball knocked back by Ulster, says the referee. Penalty against Leinster.
Number 10, offside.
Jimmy Gopperth penalised.
And in the end, a bit of a soft penalty to give away. And you have to say, I look back on the replay there, and I noticed it at the time. Van der Merwe, he had no right to make the distance that he did. He took the ball standing still from a pop from Pienaar with a full Leinster defence organised, went into contact and still managed to leg drive and make a good 3 metres beyond the point of contact. Again, we saw the next phase, the same thing happen. Constantly, Ulster in their attack, they're driving back the Leinster defensive line only in 2 and 3 metre spells, but they're gaining the whole time and they're getting the momentum.
Scrum is really good numbers.
Well, Ruan Pienaar needs to make this one for Ulster. He's at a 50% success rate with his kicking, 2 from 4. Only managed 1 a couple of weeks ago in Galway, but the wind down there was pretty dreadful. That sounds okay from up here, and looks even better from down there. So for the very first time in this game, and we've just over a minute to go to the interval, Ulster have found themselves in the lead, and they're leading the defending champions by 13 points to 10.
And an important, very, very important kick for them to get just before they go in at half-time and regroup. The coaches will be able to turn around and say, we went 10 points down early on, you were patient, you got yourselves back into the game, and we go in at half-time probably ahead. Leinster, on the other hand, you do have to wonder how much did that 100 minutes last week take physically out of the players, and when they go in at half-time, will they be mentally able to overcome the fact that Ulster have found themselves back in this game and find something in the second half?
Henderson has set it up for Ulster. Pienaar to Jackson, who's inside his 22. Gathered in by Rob Kearney. Leinster looking to come straight back. Ulster will not want to concede a penalty here. Sean O'Brien. Boss. Gordon Darcy into a wee bit of space. Nicely done. And nicely gathered by Tommy Bowe. Chris Henry. Just a few seconds remaining. To Henderson, Ulster's try scorer, helped by Jared Payne.
Use it!
Well, we played the 40 minutes, and Pienaar can kick it into touch if he wants, or he'll leave it to Jackson to perform that function. And in it goes, and Ulster will turn round 3 points up and give them probably their possession and their territorial advantage for much of that first half. That's maybe a pretty fair reflection.
I think they'll be very happy to go in 3 points up when you think and consider the start that Leinster had. They came here with real ambition, wanting to play the game. Tempo was huge in the early stages of the game, and they were 10 points up within the first 10 minutes, and they'll probably be in the dressing room at half-time scratching their heads a little bit, wondering how is it that we're behind when we were in such a commanding position so early in the game. But that's where the large amount of credit has to go to Ulster, that they picked themselves up very, very quickly and got themselves into the game pretty much because of some great work by the likes of Jackson, where he took the game by the scruff of the neck and decided to have a go at Leinster and test them.
Well, the rain came on midway through the first half and probably has changed the way that the game was going to be approached, but it has been an old-fashioned inter-pro, as we've said. 1 try apiece for Leinster, a try early on by Ben Teo, one by Ulster from Ulster's Ian Henderson, and just before half-time, Ruan Pienaar's penalty put Ulster into the lead, and they lead the champions. It's Ulster 13 and Leinster 10. Well, if it stays like this, Leinster will not be making the knockout stages for the first time since just about ever. And Ulster will go through with a chance of a home semi-final, and particularly with the final itself here at the end of May in the Kingspan Stadium. That is a fairly major carrot for Neil Doak's side. Paddy Jackson gets the second half underway. Zane Kirshner, well tackled by his opposite number, Craig Gilroy.
Use it!
Isaac Boss. Is the ball inside the 22 or outside? I think it's outside. Well, that's a clever kick by Boss. Big challenge there between Kirshner and Ludick, and Ludick's come out the winner. Gopperth. It's a hint of an overlap here. If Leinster can shift this now, O'Brien. Gordon Darcy opts to kick. And Leinster inside the Ulster half, but it's going to be a home line-out to start this second half. This is going to be a very interesting opening 10 minutes. I think there'll be a lot of probing, Reggie, and the emphasis will be on not making an error.
Yeah, a great take by Rob Kearney there under that high ball to allow Leinster to get the ball. I don't think Gordon Darcy will be overly happy with that. I think he was trying to keep that ball in play, 2 players outside him, and force the Ulster defender to make a decision, but just went out, and probably a little bit of a let-off for Ulster there because it was a 3-on-1, and if he had maybe used the hands, it could have asked a few more questions, but a good attacking opportunity here for Ulster.
First line out of the second half, well taken by Van der Merwe. Pienaar, Jackson, Cave on the charge. Up to and over the halfway line. Pienaar quickly. Nice spiral by Henderson and a good placement. Jackson, flat pass. Chris Henry in quickly. Henderson again. Proving to be a bit of a handful tonight. Pienaar. Jackson. Well, who's chasing that? Fitzgerald underneath it. He's dropped it. But well gathered in by Leinster skipper Jamie Hazlett. Gets away from the first tackle, which almost inevitably was made by Henderson. Boss. He's put just about the right amount of that. Seemed to be knocked forward by Ulster. Referee playing advantage to Leinster. Boss. Cian Healy.
Off feet now.
Tui made the tackle.
Advantage over.
Gopworth. Darcy. Gopworth. Oh, he stepped inside Rory Best. Gopworth is so dangerous. Poor attempt by Pienaar to tackle. Ulster covered back. It was Louis Ludick came back. But Gopworth, as he did in the first half, has carved Ulster's midfield open. Hazlett to no one in particular. O'Brien couldn't quite take it. Good tackle by Jared Payne. Ulster have got themselves back to almost halfway. Big Mike McCarthy, who had 160 appearances in 2 stints in the west of Ireland with Connacht. Boss just dictating things from the base of that ruck. Slowish ball. O'Brien into the tackle. Boss. He's up on the narrow side. Well, Henderson again. His tackle count is enormous. Play on, says the referee. Back on the Ulster side. Set up by Payne. Now Pienaar. Wilson. Best. Darren Cave. It's a good strike by Cave. And Ulster into the Leinster 22 for the first time in this second half. So Ulster made a mistake or two, and it looked dangerous, Reg, but they seem to have recovered.
And Henderson, that man, leading completely by example. A massive hit going in there on Dominic Ryan, and the ball gets lost here in possession. The Leinster players not coming in and clearing out accurately. Leinster, before that, great break by Jimmy Gopworth. Nobody on his shoulder, nobody looking to get to him quickly and look for an offload. Good opportunity gone, and again, Leinster in attack just passed the ball to the ground, so their error count has gone up, but great turnover by Ulster and good attack from them.
Devin Toner, the main target man for Leinster. They've reduced the line out to 5 men. Ricard Struys. Good take by Toner. Ulster drive forward. Leinster with the counter drive. O'Brien tucked in at the back. In goes Vian Herbst.
Use it now, use it!
John Lacey telling them so they have to use it. Isaac Voss kicks. And that's going to be an Ulster line-out.
And they worked it out well there, Leinster. They set up the maul quite well organised from the beginning, managed to move it out. Also not having to commit too many players in the defensive maul, but they've gotten themselves out of that danger area. But now Ulster with a real opportunity, a good clinical line out here, move the ball towards the midfield, test the Leinster defence, and if they can get some sort of quick ball, which they have been doing so far tonight, maybe we could see Tommy Bowe going on an outside run.
It's all about the call and the throw and the catch. That's untidy. Cian Healy, big gap there, away he goes. Good covering tackle by Ruan Pienaar. But Leinster once again have capitalised on a poor Ulster line-out. Gordon Darcy, there was almost a gap there. Now Leinster back in Ulster's half. Mike Ross, and again Ulster missed the first up tackle. And Roger Wilson has collided with somebody. There's Gopworth, who's caused all sorts of problems. Gets inside and outside Henry. Healy again, who caused all the problems to start with. Boss, Devin Toner. Into Black and Van der Merwe. 2 Ulster men have collided. Vian Herbst says he's fine. Not sure Roger Wilson is. Here's Gopworth. Here comes Sean O'Brien. Oh, gets outside Herbst. All the pressure coming from the men in blue. Penalty against Ulster for killing it. Roger Wilson seems to be fine, getting up rather gingerly.
Time off.
And Leinster have got the penalty, which could well bring them back to level pegging. And again, Ulster's first up tackling, Reggie, is letting them down.
I haven't seen it too much tonight, but yeah, they did fall off a couple of tackles there. But it all came from a messed up line out, some sort of confusion in the calls, and good take then at the back by Cian Healy, made a good break, and good quick recycling from Leinster, managed to find some space on the outside. Sean O'Brien putting the head down and getting around his opposite man and forcing the penalty from Ulster. Not sure if they're going to go for the penalty kick here or if they'll go for the corner for Leinster, but a little bit of better play coming there from Leinster.
Yeah, Jimmy Gofford, I think, is going to go for the corner. The referee has gone over to have a little word with Ulster's tight head prop, Vian Herbst, who collided with Roger Wilson to see if the youngster from South Africa is fine, and he seems to be. So Leinster sparing the chance to level the game with a penalty, and they're going to try to take the lead. They're about 10 metres out. There's to say plenty of Leinster support here.
Really good opportunity for Leinster here. Expect to see some sort of a drive set up early and try and bundle their way over the line from close range.
The ball went right over the top to rather surprised Mike Ross at the back of the Leinster lineup, but John Lacey wasn't happy with the spacing.
You set the gap.
You've got to be a metre apart, the two sets of lines, and each player has to be a metre apart from the nearest man to him on his own side. Keep the ball as dry as possible. And get it in. Stolen by Ulster. Pienaar. Little pirouette. Nicely done. What a very fortuitous steal by Ulster.
Great line-out defence from the Ulster team, but it's so frustrating. You get yourself into that position. It's clear Leinster didn't want to go for the 3 points. They want to try and set up that maul. You've just got to make sure that those balls go. Doesn't matter if it's the two jumper going straight up, set up the maul around it and get the thing going forward and ask questions to the defence. Instead, a scrappy line out, make it easy for Pienaar just to clear his lines, and again you've got to work all the way back in.
This time Leinster do win, and here's O'Brien to the try scorer, Ben Teo. Born in Auckland some 28 years ago. Devin Toner took it forward. Did he spill it? Tackled by Henderson. Play on, says the referee. Cian Healy coming more into this game with ball in hand, using his physical presence. Good pass by O'Brien, and Gopperth ever dangerous. He's up in there to battle for it.
No.
Slow ball for Leinster. Play on, says the referee. He's up at scrum half. Toner. Healy again. Franco van der Merwe was the man who pinched that Leinster line out. And no quarter being given or asked out there. Boss, that's a clever switch. Carney has come into the line nicely. Gopperth looked for support from Zane Kirshner. It's Chris Henry who got across. Again, it's slowish for Leinster. Toner spilled it. Advantage to Ulster, tidied in by Rory Best. Seems to have lost the headgear. Penalty to Ulster. Pretty good Ulster defending.
Yeah, you'd have to say well-organised defence from Ulster. They're getting up there. They're living on the edge. Lacey is not really watching behind him, and the defensive line is creeping up in an offside position all the time. But, you know, if it's not going to be marshalled, they may as well do that. Every single time Leinster get the ball, they're meeting an Ulster defender at the same time, and there's just no room there for Leinster to find any space to get a form of attack going.
There's a belting kick by Ulster's outside half, Paddy Jackson. And it's going to be an Ulster line-out, and they're about a metre or so away from the Leinster 22. A bit of concern for Ulster skipper Rory Best, who's getting some treatment. Seems to have got a bit battered. And, David Irwin down with him, and Gareth Robinson.
Okay, skipper.
Just goes to show you the importance of your set piece. You know, the scrum tonight was an area we wondered whether Ulster would stand up or not. They certainly have. After all the talk of Leinster's scrum last week in Toulon, Ulster have scrummaged extremely well tonight. But line out, crucial, in the corner. Leinster go for attack. You can see what they're trying to set up. It's going to be a maul. One turnover line out at a crucial stage. Now Leinster find themselves in their own 22, having to defend and having to stop Ulster extending their lead even further, and it all came from one critical set-piece missed opportunity.
10 minutes played in the second half. The score, as it was at the interval, 13-10 to Ulster. Dan Toohey got across the line. Henry at scrum half. Pienaar, Darren Cave, Sean O'Brien covered well. And the Murphy's been busy. Good Leinster defending. Ulster have conceded a metre or two. It's Pienaar on the narrow side. Ulster up and over the 22 of the opposition. Dan Toohey. Good support play. Pienaar looking to go on the narrow side again. Callum Black.
Fine move!
Out by Wilson and Henry. Henderson. Good defending by Leinster skipper. Jackson. Jared Payne. Darren Cave in the wars, but more of that in a second. Franco van der Merwe. Ulster pressing forward. A penalty would be handy for them. Now it's Jackson. That's a nice pass. Louis Ludick very nearly got away, but Luke Fitzgerald saw him off. Henry into Rickard Strauss.
Tackle only blue!
Pienaar scooped away. This could be dangerous. Well away by Ulster. Out to Darren Cave, lurking wide. Pienaar, all the pressure coming from the men in white. Cian Healy has collared Ulster's scrum half and tries to keep him off the ground. Spilled forward by Ulster, and that's going to be a Leinster scrum.
First, no advantage.
Yeah, just lost forward in that tackle area. Defensive line getting organised from Leinster and getting themselves into a strong position. I really think it's time now that Matt O'Connor starts to look to empty that bench. You can see some of the Leinster players' fatigue starting to set in, and there needs to be some fresh legs, some injection of pace for Leinster. If you look at the bench and you look at the likes of Geordie Murphy, you got Marshall there, Jack McGrath could even make an impression, and Ian Madigan, crucially and importantly as well. He provides a real attacking threat for Leinster. It's time for them. They've got to win this game. They've no option but to win this game, so they've got to look and
Geordie Murphy has come on for Leinster in place of Dominic Ryan, and Darren Cave has gone off and wearing number 23 for Ulster. It's big Stuart McCluskey has come on. So off goes Dominic Ryan, capped once by Ireland against Georgia last autumn.
We'll keep it good.
First scrum of the second half. We had to wait something like 18 minutes in the first half before the opening set piece of this game. Just confirmation. Stuart McCluskey on. Darren Cave has gone off. Looks like he's a bit of a bang around the neck. And Ryan has gone, and on comes Geordie Murphy, who had a good run with Ireland during the Six Nations. Good squeeze by Ulster. Penalty against them. Referee said it was illegal. Ulster pulling on the tight head side and shoving on the loose head side, whipping it round, which John Lacey said was illegal. Now, Reg, you know all about these things.
I need to see the replay.
Construe, please.
I need to see the replay on that one, Jim. At the time, I didn't notice. I just thought that Ulster got a good nudge up on the left-hand side, but we're not getting the benefit of the replay just yet. But let's go with what Mr. Lacey said.
Was it driving straight from one immediately? It was too quick around.
Well, he said it was too quick around. That was fine there.
I don't know. I've
seen that allowed on many occasions.
I'd have to say I think Black did well. Of course there was an angle, yeah, but I mean there's always going to be an angle in from the loose head side. I think Black got a good nudge on and just managed to follow through in his momentum, and Leinster a little bit fortunate to get away with that one.
And Leinster at Ulster's half, that was nowhere near straight.
Option skipper.
Rory Best has opted for the scrum. You can hear John Lacey saying option skipper, and Ulster skipper has gone for the scrummage.
The lineup for Leinster tonight really hasn't performed. I know the conditions are bad, the ball is greasy, it makes it difficult for the hooker, but there's been a few that just haven't gone where they're supposed to.
Sean Cronin, the Leinster replacement hooker. There's the ever smiling Isaac Boss, what a great favourite he was here in Belfast for so many years. Did a lot of great work outside the rugby circles in terms of the community and so on. Down it goes on the Ulster side. Referee's going to ask them to do it again. Leanne Herbs just had to go down under a little bit of pressure this time from Cian Healy. How much of it, Reggie, is concentration as opposed to sheer technique and strength?
Well, obviously, there's got to be concentration every time. You can't take your mind off it, but the technique is crucial. On that occasion, Healy did well. He just beat Herbs to the actual nudge as the ball came in, and once you get that little bit of a jump start, you can get the momentum going forward. It's always hard to win back the advantage once you've lost it at that initial stage, but on that occasion, again, it's down to the conditions. The ground is greasy. Both of them are so low. If you look at the body height of both of those props, they're so close to the ground. You know, a slip and it'll just immediately go to ground. So technique crucial, but concentrating every one of them.
Edinburgh leading the Italian side Zebra by 32 points to 0. A win for Edinburgh, particularly with a bonus point, would actually at this stage propel them up into the playoff stages. And Leanne Herbs might have had a wee bit of trouble there with that inside arm of his. He's shaking it out. He's a pretty solid citizen. Leanne Herbs, 26 years of age, starting his 19th game for Ulster, and this is his first season. Formerly with the Sharks. In Natal, where he learned his trade playing with a handful of seasoned internationals in that particular super side. Pienaar. Better Ulster scrum. Good technique by Herbs, has dug in against Healy. Pienaar. Jackson. Put that high. Darcy did a bit of blocking, and McCluskey, well taken by Luke Fitzgerald, under a huge amount of pressure, but Ulster have stolen it illegally.
On the floor, you're playing the ball.
Tommy Bowe accused of playing the ball on the floor. Rob Carney got annoyed about something. I think he was maybe looking for a yellow card, but Ulster, having done all the chasing and put all the pressure on, have given away the penalty. And this for Gopperth to take territorial advantage, which he's done.
And Leinster have to focus at this line, and it hasn't performed well tonight, but just go for the basic ball, even if it's a 2 flat ball. Just get the possession and try and mount some number of phases. We rarely see it go beyond 6 or 7 phases in this second half for Leinster, and they need to do that if they're going to break down that Ulster defence.
16 minutes played in the second half, still 13-10 to Ulster. Strauss. Boss gets it away. Gopperth, Geordie Murphy into Chris Henry, and Stuart McCluskey's in the middle of all of that. He's looking for the wee wrap round. There's Healy. Such a powerful runner. Boss, nicely delayed. O'Brien. Pienaar has to put the tackle in. Devon Toner, tackled by Callum Black and by Franco van der Merwe. Boss, Gopperth, the danger man. Mike McCarthy. That was McCluskey with the tackle. Knocked forward, referee waiting for advantage. Back goes Rory Best to tidy. Still advantage to Ulster. Jared Payne. Now where's he going? Into Rickard Strauss is the answer.
Advantage over now.
Referee says advantage is over.
Advantage over.
Jackson will have to kick, and he does. He's given a fair ball. That's actually quite a clever one. It's straight down the middle. It may go across the try line, or indeed it may not. Luke Fitzgerald will have to kick. Well, a rather cynical ribald cheer from the Ulster fans, not surprisingly.
Well, I'd be very surprised if it was anything else. It went off the outside of Luke Fitzgerald's boot, and just obviously not quite the distance he was hoping to get on it. And again, a good opportunity for Ulster in a prime position to launch an attack. But I really have noticed, Jim, as this game has gone through and as we've watched it, Leinster are so slow at getting that ball away from the base of the ruck. There's at least 2, 3, 4 seconds too long every single time, which just allows Ulster the opportunity to organise their defensive line. They've got to get that ball away immediately once it's presented if they're to have any chance.
Well, they do have Owen Redden waiting on the bench. Quicker ball by Ulster, well taken by Pienaar. That was flat. It's not Owen Redden in the bench. It's actually Luke McGrath who was the late change. There's McCluskey. That looked forward. Did he give it? No play on. Knocked on by Blue. Here's Paddy Jackson. Little chip by Jackson. Here's Gilroy. He's gathered. He scored. Has he? No. I don't think so. Well, we'll have to have a look at that. It would be just like Gilroy to have got that done, but we'll have to go upstairs. This is intriguing.
On first impression for me, I thought he got it down. Brilliant kick from Jackson. He weighted it perfectly, and it just hopped up at exactly the right moment for Gilroy to come in. Great piece of skill to catch it at all. I think he may well have just got it down inside the line.
Well, John Lacey has gone upstairs to Seamus Casey and asked for try yes or no. Gilroy, he hit the corner flag, but that's okay. Doesn't matter about the corner flag. It's did he get it down before his foot was in touch?
Yeah, just checking that one.
He's caught it there. Has he got a foot down? His feet are, yes, foot's in touch.
I just want to check and see if he touched down before the flag.
He did get it down. It was a brilliant piece of skill to even manoeuvre his body to be able to get it down, but just his right toe just touches out of play. His left leg hits the flag, but his right toe just touches out of play before he touches it down. So unfortunate. Great piece of skill from
John.
Gilroy
That decision.
There.
Yes.
His boot came down and touch in goal. 22 dropout.
Okay.
No try. 22 dropout. Right decision given by Seamus Flannery. Craig Gilroy may well have thought it was try number 11 in this campaign.
But what a brilliant bit of foresight by Paddy Jackson to see that the defensive line had come forward. There was gaps in behind. Brilliantly placed kick. I think Jackson's had a really good game tonight. He's been manoeuvring and organising his team around him and making sure the players are in the right positions. Physically, he seems to have bulked up since he got that injury. He's obviously been doing a lot of gym work, and his pace, really surprised at the breaks he's been able to make tonight. He's been carving holes in that defence.
Cian Healy's gone off. Rickard Strice has gone off. Here's Craig Gilroy, clever chip and chase. Can he jump? He can. Knocked forward by Leinster and by Rob Carney. That's going to be an Ulster scrum. So Sean Cronin is on for Rickard Strice, and Jack McGrath is on for Cian Healy, and two pretty tasty fellas to have to spring off the bench.
And expect both of those to bring a little bit of that tempo and pace that I was talking about earlier that was badly needed from a Leinster perspective. They'll both be looking to make an impression in this game, in particular Cronin. Good play there from Ulster, clever kick, good chase as well, and Carney just unusually for him not managing to claim the ball in the air.
3/4 of the game gone. Ulster still leading by those 3 precious points. Well, the pressure coming from Vian Strice and Jack McGrath just bending. Referee's having a word with him about it.
I need you to get your feet in and get your head and shoulders up, okay? You too.
Coming on at loose head like that, fresh Jack McGrath, he's going to try and make an impression in this first scrum. He'd love nothing more than to try and force a turnover on this Ulster scrum, so Herb's better have his wits about him.
Well, since everyone was last with us, we've had to say adieu to Declan Fitzpatrick, who's decided because of recurring concussion to retire from rugby. Irish international prop forward and a stalwart here in Belfast for the best part of a decade. Pienaar has to scoop it away. McCluskey, a little bit upright, but he's got it to ground. Leinster tackling has just increased in intensity. Van der Merwe across the 10-metre line of the champions. Pienaar, Herbst, had 5 men outside him, but he's chosen to hang on.
All is available there now.
Well, Leinster working hard at the breakdown. Pienaar, Jackson, McCluskey gets out of the first tackle. Good ground made by McCluskey. Henderson, quieter in this second half. Now Pienaar again. Jackson, how's that going to land? Straight into touch. Just overcooked it. You can see what he was thinking though.
Good idea. He looked up, the defensive line was well organised. No point in shipping a bad ball onto somebody on his outside to get smashed. Saw the fact that Luke Fitzgerald had come slightly forward in the defensive line, and there may well have been a little small window of opportunity in behind Luke Fitzgerald, but on that occasion he just put a little bit too much weight on it and it went straight out.
Well, Mike Ross is feeling the taste of this game. Likewise, Mike McCarthy. Sean Cronin into a four-man lineup. McCarthy, Boss, Gopworth. O'Brien's knocked it forward. Referee playing advantage to Ulster, and none has come.
No advantage. Last forward.
There was a certain element of tiredness in that, wasn't there?
Yeah, you know, it's just everything about it. It just seemed to be running across the pitch and taking it on there, just taking his eye off the ball, looking up. I suppose you can't blame him. He looked up and there was 4 Ulster players waiting to come and meet him, so just took his eye off the ball for one slight moment, and with the greasy ball, just left it behind him.
Closer then.
That line is the Leinster 10-metre line.
Crouch!
Ulster scrum, they split their forces. 4 to the left and 2 to the near side of the field, the right. Good solid Ulster scrum. McGrath tried to do his very best. Wilson. Well, they managed to get away with that. That's pretty hopeless. Ludick still managed to get away. Look, away goes Ludick. Ludick trying to get away from Fitzgerald inside the Bow. Here comes Bow. Ulster 5 metres from the line. Try might just win them this game. Pinar. Referee's given a penalty, I think. Pinar, little chip for Gilroy. Can he gather? He can. No, he can't. Well, I'm preempting everything Gilroy does. But they've got to come back for the penalty. The referee has gone to his pocket, and Rob Carney has gone to the bin.
15 off feet, killing the
And
ball.
Leinster can ill afford somebody in the bin now at this stage of the game, when they have to go almost chasing. Just 17 minutes left on the clock. They're already behind. An opportunity here for Ulster probably to take the penalty, and they are in fact going to take the penalty and just edge themselves that bit further in front. And now Leinster have got to chase this game with 14 players for the vast majority of what's left in it. You know, with those tired bodies and tired legs, both mentally and physically after last week's efforts, you just have to wonder if Leinster have it in them to come back from this with 14 men.
Well, Ulster were doing their very best to make such a mess of that. There were a couple of very scrappy passes there. But eventually, they've been awarded with the penalty. And Gilroy, well, the first one was a lot closer. He's made it. Ulster 6 points clear to win this game. Leinster need a converted try. And there's just over 15 minutes remaining. How important was that? Ian Madigan has come on. Gordon Darcy has left the field. And Luke McGrath has come on for Isaac Boss. Leinster have replaced their tight head prop. Tadhg Furlong has come on. Away goes the effervescent Gilroy. Back to Jackson. What a belt he's given that, Luke Fitzgerald. He may have to kick, and he does kick. That's a good kick too, but well covered by Pinar. Rory Best gets away. Ulster complaining that there was an offside. Away goes Bow.
It's off feet. Advantage.
Penalty against
It's
Leinster.
off his feet.
Well, that actually, the Leinster scrum half replacement, despite what it says on the official team sheet, is actually Owen Redden, I'm pretty sure. Jackson for the corner, I think, with all that confusion. Rory Best has said, no, he's going to go for the penalty. Well, Ruan Pinar's kicked him from here, and this would make life even more difficult for Leinster should the South African land this one.
And Stephen Ferris made this point at half-time that no matter what you might think, there is always a breeze that comes down that end of the pitch, so it's slightly in the back of Ulster here, and from that distance, given what we saw him do into the breeze in the first half, this is well within Pinar's range, and exactly what Ulster should do to try and push the game that bit further beyond Leinster's reach.
Dan Toohey goes off. Robbie Dyack comes on, so Ian Henderson, one suspects, will probably move into the second row to allow Dyack play in his normal position of blindside flanker. And the great thing about having Henderson there, Reg, is that he's so versatile, so you can actually assort your subs around him. But more of that in a second, because this is probably one of the most important kicks, if not the most important kick of the game, with almost 27 minutes played in the second half. That needs to carry. What a kick by Pienaar.
Superb kick.
That is one of the kicks of the season.
And it's such a crucial time, Jim. You know, they know they need to put the squeeze on Leinster and really deflate them mentally as they're down to 14 players. Just turn the screw, ask the question of Leinster, go that converted try further ahead. So they're 9 points ahead, and they know that Leinster have to score at least 2 more times just to get themselves the win.
Well, it's all about concentration now with 13 minutes remaining. Ulster 9 points ahead. Clever switch by Gopperth. Well taken by Jared Payne. He's probably asking, where are all the big forwards? Back to Pienaar. Nice weight, and that up goes Bowe. Knocked back by Bowe, taken by Best. Pienaar charged down by Fitzgerald. Pienaar swallowed up by a whole blue blanket. Bowe at scrum half. Callum Black is well tackled. Bowe again. Jackson. Gilroy's going to chase this. Gone loose.
Lost forward off blue.
Knocked forward by Leinster. Referee playing advantage to Ulster.
Lost forward first.
Robbie Dyack being a wee bit exuberant. You could forgive him for that, given the game that's in it. 12 minutes remaining. 9 points between them.
And you can see the Ulster tails are up now. They really are wanting to push on. They feel they can put Leinster away and get themselves a really convincing win here in Kingspan. We mentioned before the game, they haven't had too many victories in the last number of encounters together. So it's an opportunity that Ulster will really want to get and prove that they're worthy to be in this top 4. And they've got their sights on playing in the knockout stages, and of course with the final being here later on in the season, there isn't a bigger prize for the Ulster men to fight for at this stage of the game.
Well, Leinster have beaten them at the business end of 4 very important matches in the Heineken final, the Pro 12 final, and 2 Pro 12 semis. If it stays like this, then Leinster will not be making the last 4. Ulster will be in touching distance of a home semi. And as we mentioned, the final here at the end of May in the Kingspan Stadium is the biggest carrot for a while. Rory Best, Ulster's redoubtable skipper, is leaving the field and handing over the reins to Rob Herring. What a player Rory Best has been. What a player Rory Best still is.
Incredible player for both his province here in Ulster, but also at international level. He's just been so consistent in all the games that he's played, and such an important factor of everything that Joe Schmidt thinks of too.
Well, a good solid Ulster scrum. They've got to get the transfer from Wilson to Pienaar right, and they have done. Jackson. McCluskey. Good strength from the young fella. Pienaar again. There goes Henderson. Dyack to assist. Pienaar again. Rob Herring, who's busy. It's an outside bet for the 3rd hooker spot, if there is one, in the Irish World Cup squad. Robbie Dyack will be pressing for one of the back row spots, although it's pretty crowded in there. Henderson, Pienaar. Now that's a clever kick. That is an extremely clever kick by Pienaar. 10 minutes remaining. Leinster still down to 14, trailing by 9 points, and Ulster within touching distance of the Leinster line.
That is a brilliant kick, as you said, knowing well that the space had to be somewhere. Leinster down a player, fullback has to come up and organise that defensive line. It just dinked it in beautifully positioned, inch perfect on the 5-metre line. Great opportunity for Ulster to put Leinster under some pressure again, and that's what it's about at this stage of the game, just pinning back the opposition, keeping them in their own half and forcing the pressure on them.
Andrew Warwick and Bronson Ross on from Ulster. That's gone loose. Great work by Ross. Under 10 minutes. Knocked into touch by Luke Fitzgerald, and because the ball was knocked into touch, then Ulster will get the option of the scrum or the line-out. Roger Wilson's taken over the captaincy. I'm pretty sure he'll go for the scrum.
Scrum called. It's a line-out option, yes.
Great opportunity with Leinster down a player in that back line. Luke Fitzgerald having to come over on that inside channel just to protect things. You can imagine that Ulster will desperately try to get the loose head side of the scrum up just enough to get the angle to try and take that back row out a little bit, and either we look at maybe Roger Wilson picking and going himself, or else they'll move it along that back line and aim towards the centres, but they'll definitely try and get the twist on the loose head side of the scrum.
Robbie Dyack in his familiar position as blindside flanker for Ulster. Bronson Ross on this side has got a 1-year extension with Ulster. Leinster get a squeeze on. Wilson controls. Pienaar gets it away. Not the greatest ball in the world. McCluskey is very strong. He takes on Goffrith and Fitzgerald and makes it available. Franco van der Merwe. Pile the men in white. Pienaar. Rob Herring. Good support from Andrew Warwick. Pienaar again. Henderson battling, looking for a second try. My word, he's close. Drive by Robbie Dyack. That's how close they are. Just an arm length away. Here they come again, driving forward. Pienaar, van der Merwe. Little check and then a drive. Pienaar says, somebody go to my left. Then he goes to his right. McCluskey. Great defending by Leinster. Jackson, Tommy Bowe inside him, inside to Gilroy. Gilroy's going to get try number 11 of the season, and that's going to give Ulster a famous victory against their oldest provincial rivals, and will take Ulster into the semi-finals of the Guinness Pro 12.
A really well-worked try there from Ulster. They showed great patience, testing and probing. Started, like I said, on the loose head side with that scrum, getting that angle up enough to get the momentum going forward. But the pass from Pienaar was brilliant. He skipped out the first player, put it in behind him, and you just saw Jackson just moving on the outside, drawing that Leinster defender in Goffrith out. He had to follow Jackson. If he didn't, Jackson would have gone himself. And then Gilroy very cleverly just coming back on that inside line where the huge gap was, and a brilliantly worked try, and it's game, set and match for Ulster.
More cleverly done from Jackson to Gilroy, but the man who set it up has made a big impression. Stuart McCluskey's sheer strength, taking on and holding up 3 or 4 Leinster defenders, was absolutely paramount, and that being set up. That looks good. We have 6.5 minutes remaining. Rob Kearney has come back onto the field, but this time Ulster did capitalise when Leinster were short-handed.
They did, yeah, and if you think back at it, you know, bar that first 10-minute spell, it really has been a dominant display by Ulster. I don't know whether they were asleep or just that Leinster came out so sharp at the beginning of the game, but since then, the following 65 minutes has pretty much been all Ulster.
Big kick by Jackson, who's had a terrific game in the number 10 shirt for Ulster. Here's Goffrith. Will they miss him next year? Well, a certain Johnny Sexton is back from Gay Paris. Away by Leinster. Sean Cronin, who does like to have a bit of a scamper when he gets the ball in his mitts. Luke Fitzgerald, no way through. Away by Leinster again. Ian Madigan. Geordie Murphy well and truly nailed.
Wait.
Sean O'Brien sucks down round the ankles. Half a chance here for Leinster. Zane Kirshner. We haven't seen him get anything like a chance with ball in hand. Still there for Leinster.
No, hang on.
Andrew Warwick pretty close with the tackle.
Advantage.
5 minutes remaining. Referee has given a penalty to Ulster.
Back away.
Quick tap and go. Ulster not back the prerequisite 10 metres. Well, Jamie Hayes, still plenty more years to go, I'm pretty sure.
Let's go.
Gopperth wasting no time at all.
We're not slowing the game.
Well, that's a good kick by Jimmy Gopperth. Now there's, what, 4.5 minutes remaining. I suppose 3 quick tries and Leinster could be back in this game.
You really are optimistic, Jim. Yeah, well, I suppose they've got to try and redeem themselves a little bit and work on this line-out. Get themselves into a position to maybe get them all set up and see if they can get a score.
Well, they're in the right part of the field. Sean Cronin, with 43 Irish caps to his name, most of them as a replacement, you have to say, to the man who's gone off the field, Rory Best. Taken on by Leinster yet again. Wee bit of a fumble there. Gopperth, flat pass. Oh, that could be interesting. It's been knocked forward, has it? And Ulster have got themselves offside. John Lacey has been pretty sharp on the whistle, but I think I could really question any of his decisions so far this evening.
I think he's been pretty consistent for both sides in the decisions he's made. At the breakdown, he laid down the law pretty early that the tackler needed to release, and you know, he made his decisions based on that. But getting back to where we are now, Leinster have elected to go. They're electing to go for the corner again and try and set up that lineup. But Ulster would be desperate not to let in a score at this stage. As I said, bar that first 10 minutes, they've really showed their dominance in this game, and they've put it to Leinster. They've asked questions of the Leinster defence, and they've scored some great tries, played some great rugby, and they won't want to concede one now at this late stage.
I'm not sure if a losing bonus point's going to be any good to them. Long throw to the back. That's nicely taken in, however. Leinster looking to churn round that narrow side. There's about a good 10 metres between the maul and the touchline. Cronin has it tucked in nicely. Leinster going for the shove. Ulster need to be alert. Cronin will try to propel himself out of this. Referee has given another penalty against Ulster. Ulster up quickly. Referee still giving the penalty. Now will they take a quick one? Ulster have to retreat behind the goal line. There's going to be a yellow card to an Ulster player, and it's Andrew Warwick who seems to have injured his ankle. And the referee has told the Leinster skipper that there is an injury.
He's in the bin, okay?
Don't know that the avuncular Andrew Warwick is all that desperately injured, but he'll have the rest of this game to reflect upon that. 2.5 minutes to go, and he's gone to the bin.
Ready?
You can see Leinster going for a scrum here, given they had the man advantage.
Hold on, boys. Hold on. Captain, the time is
Maybe
off.
not.
Yes. Okay, leave the field,
I
please.
said the time is off.
Put your boot on. Time is off.
Robbie Dark is told to put his boot on. You can't take time off for an injured boot if there is such a thing. Leinster going for the quick tap. It's Jimmy Gopperth in the scrum half position. Sean O'Brien straight into a raft of white jerseys. Away they go. Here's Cronin. Good tackle by Stuart McCluskey. Loose Ulster hand in there. Gopperth back inside to Ian Madigan. Ulster determined not to have their line crossed as they did in the opening few minutes of this game. Leinster determined to do just that. Ferocious tackling, 2 minutes remaining. Away by Leinster. Again, it's the bruising one from Cronin.
The ball is available.
Owen Redden screaming it's there.
Okay.
Taken on by Jack McGrath, Leinster's replacement prop. Redden again. Gopperth in the right position. That looked a wee bit on the high side from Ulster.
Hands down.
Still good defending by the home team. Away by Leinster, Sean O'Brien.
Move wide.
Pienaar saying more men on this side, please. Ben Teo, who's been quiet since he got that opening try. On the narrow side, Rob Carney. What a tackle went in there.
Contest is good.
Ball seemed to be nudged forward ever so slightly. Still Leinster making progress. just over a minute to go. Sean Cronin. Chris Henry scrags him.
Still advantage.
Still there for Leinster. Referee still playing advantage. Ian Madigan.
Away.
Well tackled by Robbie Dyack. Great pressure. That was knocked backward. And again they'll come back. Are Ulster going to have another man in the bin?
Wait. Back on the line, please.
No, they've got to go back to the line. Taken quickly. Jordy Murphy, head down. Good tackle by Jared Payne.
Get in there.
Carney. It's gone wide. Up quickly was Gilroy. Here goes Sean O'Brien. White shirt streaming across to make the tackles. Madigan nicely passed. Luke Fitzgerald. Henderson. Who else? Leinster on the narrow side again, trying everything. 20 seconds remaining. Here come Leinster throwing everything up to and including the kitchen sink. Jordy Murphy. Jared Payne with the tackle for Ulster.
Use it.
Wow, the crowd, I've never heard them so animated. Madigan, Sean O'Brien. We have now played 80 minutes. When this goes dead, it's all over. Still there, Rob Herring.
And release.
Stuart McCluskey as well, referee telling Leinster to release. Here they come again, they're not going to give up, Leinster. Nicely laid back, through comes Henry. Play on, says the referee. McCluskey's ripped the ball away. It's gone back. Still there for Leinster. Heaslip.
Off the foot. Off the foot.
Gone forward off the foot. McCluskey wins it on the ground though for Ulster. Penalty against Ulster.
On his feet, no problem.
And you can't end the game in a penalty, so they'll have to take it quickly, and they have done. Here goes Jack McGrath. Louis Lulick tries to hold him up.
Ball is there.
The referee has told Lulick to release, and the fullback does that. Madigan, Jordy Murphy, tackled by Ruan Pienaar. Good work by the scrum half. McGrath gets it away. Ben Teo. Wonderful stuff. Robbie Dyack, what a finish. Back in the Leinster side. Rob Carney will try to get outside McCluskey. Inside to Kirshner. Over a minute played, it's gone loose. Play on, says the referee, the ball is out. This is an extraordinary finish to an extraordinary game. Rob Herring, Henderson. Here he goes. Little check, overrun a bit by Tommy Bowe. All Ulster have to do is clear it.
No, not for feet, no.
Has to go into touch. Pienaar to Jackson. The final flourish. And Ulster have won a momentous tussle here at Ravenhill. How tired were Leinster after their heroics in the south of France last weekend, and after such a short turnaround? They started brightly, but after 10 minutes, predominantly, it was the men in white who have surely secured the place in the last four of this competition. The rain has come down, nobody's noticing.
And that was an absolutely phenomenal last 5-minute defensive period from Ulster, and pretty much summed up their attitude from that 10-minute first half period, where they just decided to get themselves into this game, and from then on it was one-way traffic and it was Ulster all the way. But that defensive performance there, I said as Leinster were going for that line-out that Ulster would not want to concede a try at that stage, and they proved it to a man.
Leinster went 10-0 up after 7 minutes, and thereafter they didn't bother the scoreboard. By half-time, it was 13-10 to Ulster, thanks to a try by Ian Henderson. And in the second half, Ulster added 13 more points. Penalties from Ruan Pienaar and the conversion of Craig Gilroy's 11th try of the season. What a finish, what a game, what a result for the men in white.